There's a lot of unanswered questions, and ATF and the FBI have been very aggressive in pursuing this.
A local gun shop owner indicted after an investigation into a multi-state scheme that possibly brought hundreds of machine guns here to New Mexico. Target 7 told you how a former sheriff and his undersheriff were connected.
Now another gun shop has been named and a state police sergeant has been put on leave. Before being sent to Breaking News, John Cardinale went looking for answers in a Target 7 investigation.
Former Sheriff Manuel Gonzalez and his undersheriff Rudy Mora were named only by initials in the indictment for a cross-country scheme to obtain machine guns. They weren't charged, but 2 police chiefs and 3 gun dealers were. Now, 5 months after the indictment, it's not clear where these guns are.
There are reasons why officers should be offered the opportunity to understand how those weapons work.
Attorney and gun shop owner Mark Abramson is explaining how law enforcement agencies can get their hands on machine guns, which have been restricted in the U.S. for decades. But they can be imported with a written request from a local law enforcement agency known as a law letter.
The department would be applying on its letterhead for that fully automatic weapon to be used, again, either for demonstration or for acquisition by the department.
But according to this federal indictment unsealed in October, some law enforcement agencies may have gone too far. The indictment alleges that police chiefs in North Carolina and North Dakota acquired hundreds of machine guns. These are pictures of some of them. The indictment says the guns were being acquired to be resold for profit or to be kept for the suspect's own enjoyment. 3 gun dealers were also indicted, including New Mexico dealer James Tafoya, who used to own this gun dealership in southwest Albuquerque.
There's a lot of unanswered questions, and ATF and the FBI have been very aggressive in pursuing this.
Also mentioned in the indictment but not charged was former Bernalillo County Sheriff Manny Gonzalez and Laguna Police Chief Rudy Mora. Mora had previously been Gonzalez's undersheriff. The indictment says that Gonzalez submitted 127 law letters to Tafoya, which would allow him to request nearly 600 machine guns. Mora requested 414 firearms.
They demo Class 3 weapons, short barrel rifles, automatic firearms, for the purposes of either assessing whether or not the department wants to acquire those weapons or to demonstrate to other officers what to expect if they encounter them out on the street.
Federal investigators went to Tafoya's home, this warehouse, and this former gun shop and seized more than 200 firearms. He told investigators he was planning to do a demonstration for a local law enforcement agency. It's unclear if Mora and Gonzalez benefited in any way. Federal prosecutors in Maryland would not answer any questions.
We know that they may have been in New Mexico at some point, but not in the BCSO armory to our knowledge as we conducted an audit.
Following the indictment, current Sheriff John Allen announced he was conducting an audit to see if he had any of the guns. Allen acknowledges he has machine guns in his armory, but none related to the federal investigation.
We will not do what has been past practice here in this office. It's not acceptable. That's not something that we need to, how we build public trust. It brings too much doubt, specifically when we have all these problems with gun violence that we're seeing in our community.
A Laguna police spokesperson said Mora left the agency in 2021 before federal investigators started asking questions. Laguna police officials tell Target 7 they do not have any of the machine guns. Target 7 Investigations producer TJ Wilhelm also visited the homes of Mora and Gonzalez. We also called them. We got no answers.
Manuel Gonzalez.
Last month, the state police armor was put on leave after a federal search warrant from 2021 was unsealed. Federal authorities also searched this gun shop. The sergeant was authorized to conduct demonstrations by former acting state police chief Robert Thornton, and he was associated with some of the gun dealers.
Not only was he aware of it, but he shot some of these Class 3 firearms out on the West Side Range.
Target 7 interviewed the sergeant's lawyer, Tom Grover, after he met with state police internal affairs investigators. Grover says Thornton told him to set up the demonstrations. The sergeant has not been charged with anything.
So they've known about this apparently for 2 years, but only now have started this IA investigation to assess whether or not he committed any wrongdoing.
Grover says the state police chief at the time asked his client to write law letters. He says his client worked with the dealer to get the guns and that the police chief fired them himself.
Records show that Tafoya had previously sold firearms to the sheriff's department and was a campaign contributor to Gonzalez. For Target 7, I'm John Cardinelli.
If you have a tip you want to share with our Target 7 Investigations Unit, call 505-884-6347.